Hello everyone, welcome to Muffin Man Gaming. In today's session, I have Warframe, and joining me in Warframe is Jade Optics, a good buddy of mine. Today we're going to do the Fracture events that is happening on Orb Valis. Now these Fracture events we have found that most people just don't know what they're doing, and I'm happy to make this video to hopefully help them figure it out. And if not, at least enjoy the game a little more. So, there are a few things to discuss before we head out, before I get to that point of the video. We messed around, Jade and I, messed around figuring out the best team. Now, him and I could take these fractures alone, and that's simply because I'm a healer and he's a tank. I'm on Oberon Prime, and he's on Frost Prime. That being said, our weapon choice is also different from each other. I have chosen to use the Rubico Prime, as you can see in the back, as just to high damage, high crit, some of the things that are out there. Now, he's used a shotgun to just take out massive amounts of enemies as they come by. Hopefully, when it comes time to see the gameplay, you'll see what I'm talking about. That's him in the background, actually. He's probably a little quiet, but yeah, it is what it is. Now, the fractures are pretty easy to do. Those of you who have not gotten this far in Warframe, spoiler alerts. Here's your warning now. All you gotta do is find the exploit creature that is out there that has these little mobs called coolant arachnoids. Can't miss them. Beetles, giant tubes in her back, look like coolant. Really plain, simple, easy to find. Now what we do is we go out of Fortuna and take an immediate right out towards the Temple of Prophet. That's where these things tend to congregate. Now, once you destroy one of those, it'll drop a cooling canister. Take that cooling canister out to a rift or a fracture and simply place it, and now it just becomes a 4-phase protection level. Something most of you have played on the other levels in this game. Pretty easy. However, there's a little more difficulty to it than just simply protected. One of the things that happens out there are these reinforcement beacons. They show up as red stars, and you'll have it next in the upper left-hand corner next to the map, and there will be 4. For each one that's added onto it, the more difficult it becomes. As well, it'll spawn different things. Now, there can be jackals out there. Those jackals, they're just a nuisance. They're not that difficult. You can take them out. They do have a shield, but it's just a volt shield. Shoot around it. Easy enough. That's what the Rubico Primes do. However, there are more than just the jackals that you're going to have to deal with. The other arachnoids that show up can also be difficult. Now, I don't know them by name all that much, but one of them has 2 phases in which it bursts a bubble on its back. Just because it looks dead doesn't mean it is dead. So keep an eye on that. Wait for it to come back. It'll be immune to damage for a certain portion of that phase. And then once it comes back to being destroyable, easy to kill. Not that big of a deal. Just don't let it burst its bubble around you, because some of that is actual damage. As well, there's another one out there that has an extra amount of shields and has a purple bar before you get to destroy the shield bar. Once you get past that, it's just all the armor that you got to take off. So anything that can take off armor, great. That's what you want. Crit damage is pretty good to have. Once we get past that, the only other creatures to worry about are these little Kubro mechanical dog-looking things. I've been confused myself quite a few times that thinking, oh, it must be a player's, I should stop shooting at it. But it is taking damage, so quickly found out that it is just another enemy that you have to worry about. They do pounce, they do knock you down, and they do hurt. Now, once we get out here, you'll find that it's easy enough to just arc-wing your way out to the Prophet Temple, take out whatever you need, and it's pretty simple. But the moment you drop that coolant, that's when it becomes difficult. So, off to the right, you'll see.
I don't know where camp is.
You're missing me. Once we get out here, I'll do what I can. There's between the Temple of Fabrication and the Grow site fly between that, as you can see with the arrow. In the upper portion of the map, you'll see the Temple of Prophet. When you're headed towards it, go to the left side of that, as you see here. That's where this thing typically sits. At least one of them. I know there's 2 or 3 of them that wander around. But you can see it off to the right there in the shadows. There it is. Exploiter Orb. That's what it's called. And you find out that those are pretty much indestructible until you, of course, later on. But spoilers. These are the coolant arachnoids. Shoot one. There it is. Drop the canister. Simple enough to pick up the canister. There you go. And get off without it. Or get off with it. Now, the fractures are pretty easy to see, too. They're bright, smoking orange, yellow. That's just below me, if I could ever find it, not being a silly idiot. There it is. Right there, you just drop it right in, and now it becomes a defensive wave. Now, as I said, the beacons are up and immediate. Normally when we played, it was a gradual thing. The more you did, the more, of course, it became. That was being a jackal, took it out pretty easy, eliminated it. Now, the reason why the jackal is up is because of those beacons. That which he just planted right there is the beacon. You can kill him before they plant it, but if you can't, just simply shoot it, takes it away. Lowers the difficulty, lowers whatever may actually come about. Now, you're going to see one of the other arachnoids that it spawns. There it is. Yep. Boo. That right there. That's another arachnoid. See how it's purple? That's the overcharged shields that it has. It's not hard to get through, but then it has a phase where it disappears. It, goes invisible. It's not dead yet. It'll come back, in which you just take it out. From there, as you can see, we're lowering the difficulty with every beacon we destroy down to 1 beacon. Now it won't be so hard. So it does it in waves of 4. You get through this one fracture, go to the next, and boom, you're done. Good to go, happy as can be. Now, some things to also add. We tried this yesterday where we had a public of 4 people play with us. Each of us picked up 1 cooling canister. And then from there, we went from 1 fracture to the next, to the next, to the next, until all 4 of us had our own canisters full and completed. It did give us a lot of fractures, but man, it doesn't lower the difficulty. It just continuously gets harder and harder and harder. So something to keep in mind. I typically find if we do 8 fractures and then call it a day, whatever bonuses you get from using the same cooling canister, you'll get a lot. So in one run, we sealed 4 fractures, and we got 9. We got 9 counted for us. So it was pretty easy. That being said, I think that's pretty much it. That's for this video. There's not much more to explain. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you. If you feel that there's something else that I missed or other things that need to be cleaned up or explained, or make sure that there's information that I've gotten wrong that needs to be corrected, please let me know. I will happily make sure that other people are aware of that. Thank you, and goodbye.